Imagine paying a freelancer thousands of dollars, only to disappear with nothing but excuses, missed deadlines, and broken promises. Now imagine the opposite. A freelancer delivers incredible work, but the client vanishes without paying a single cent. Every year, millions of dollars are trapped between trust and betrayal. And in the middle of that battlefield stand two platforms, both promising to solve the same problem, but in completely different ways. One has dominated the market for years. The other quietly claims it has found a better way. But only one decision could completely change how you hire freelancers. It all started with a simple problem that almost every business owner eventually faces. You have a brilliant idea. Maybe it's an app, a YouTube channel, an online store, or a startup you've dreamed about for years. But reality hits fast. You can't design everything yourself. You can't code. You can't edit videos. You can't write perfect copy. You need talent, real talent, and not just anyone. You need someone you can trust with your business. Years ago, finding skilled freelancers meant endless emails, random forums, and hoping the person on the other side actually knew what they were doing. It was slow, risky, and incredibly frustrating. But then, everything began to change. As the internet connected people across continents, freelance marketplaces exploded. Suddenly, a designer in Pakistan could work for a startup in California. A programmer in India could build software for a company in Germany. Distance no longer mattered. Skills became global. And among all the platforms racing to connect businesses with freelancers, one name slowly became impossible to ignore. Upwork wasn't just another website. It became the giant everyone knew. Millions of freelancers joined. Millions of clients signed up. It looked like the perfect solution. But the real story was only beginning. Businesses loved the idea. Instead of hiring expensive employees, they could hire experts only when needed. Need a logo? Done. Need a website? Easy. Need an entire development team? Just post a job. Freelancers loved it too, because they could escape traditional offices and work from anywhere in the world. Coffee shops became offices, living rooms became studios, laptops became businesses. It felt like freedom. The dream economy had arrived. But every dream has a price, and most people didn't notice it until much later. At first, everything looked almost magical. Upwork invested heavily in building trust. Client reviews, freelancer ratings, identity verification, work history, payment protection, dispute systems, every feature was designed to reduce fear. Businesses finally felt comfortable hiring complete strangers. Freelancers finally believed they could build careers online. The marketplace grew into a global powerhouse, with millions of projects worth billions of dollars flowing through it every year. It seemed almost unbeatable. But hidden beneath that success was a pressure that kept growing. As more freelancers joined, competition became brutal. Every new job attracted dozens, sometimes hundreds, of proposals within hours. Skilled professionals weren't just competing against local experts anymore. They were competing against the entire world. Prices started falling. New freelancers struggled to get noticed because clients naturally trusted people with years of reviews. Experienced freelancers had to spend more time writing proposals just to stay competitive. Everyone was working harder just to stand still. But something even bigger was happening behind the scenes. For businesses, hiring became both easier and more confusing. A simple web design project might receive 150 applications. Some charged $10 an hour. Others charged $150. Everyone claimed to be the perfect fit. Everyone promised fast delivery. Everyone showed polished portfolios. Choosing the right person became a full-time job in itself. More options didn't always mean better decisions. Sometimes they created paralysis. And that single problem quietly opened the door for a challenger. While everyone focused on Upwork's massive size, another platform was asking a different question. What if hiring freelancers didn't have to be so expensive? What if clients kept more of their money and freelancers kept more of their earnings too? That question became the foundation of goLance. It wasn't trying to outgrow Upwork overnight. It was trying to rethink the economics behind freelance work. At first, hardly anyone noticed, but what happened next surprised many business owners. Instead of copying every rule, goLance emphasized lower fees and more affordable hiring. For freelancers, that meant keeping a larger share of what they earned. For businesses, it often meant spending less on platform costs. On paper, it sounded like an obvious advantage. Why pay more if you don't have to? But business is rarely that simple. Lower costs solve one problem while creating another. And this is where the real comparison begins. Imagine opening two restaurants. One is packed with thousands of customers every day. The other is smaller, quieter, and easier to navigate. Which one gives you a better chance of finding the perfect chef? The crowded restaurant offers endless choices but longer waiting times. The smaller restaurant offers less competition but fewer options. That's exactly how many people describe the difference between Upwork and goLance. One gives you an enormous talent pool. The other offers a more focused environment. But size alone doesn't determine success. For a business owner hiring a freelancer, trust often matters more than price. If you're building software worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, saving a few percentage points on platform fees may not be your biggest concern. You're asking a stranger to build part of your future. Suddenly, reviews, reputation, project history, communication, and payment protection become priceless. Upwork spent years building that trust. It became its strongest weapon. But every weapon has weaknesses. Some clients began complaining about rising costs. Others found the proposal system overwhelming. Freelancers talked about expensive connects needed to apply for jobs, increasing competition, and constantly fighting for visibility. Some talented professionals left entirely, frustrated by spending hours applying without winning enough work. Success was still possible, but it demanded more effort than ever before. Meanwhile, smaller platforms quietly attracted those looking for alternatives. goLance entered conversations that many people weren't expecting. Businesses appreciated lower fees. Freelancers liked keeping more of their income. The interface felt simpler for some users. Communication tools continued improving. It wasn't trying to become a clone of Upwork. Instead, it positioned itself as an alternative for people tired of paying premium marketplace costs. But then, reality created another challenge. A marketplace lives and dies by something incredibly simple: network effects. More clients attract more freelancers. More freelancers attract more clients. Once that cycle becomes powerful enough, it's incredibly difficult to break. Upwork had spent years building one of the strongest freelance ecosystems on the internet. That meant businesses often found specialized experts much faster. Whether you needed blockchain developers, AI engineers, accountants, voice actors, architects, translators, or legal researchers, chances were high someone was available. Replicating that scale isn't easy. This created an interesting dilemma. A smaller marketplace may charge lower fees, but if it has fewer specialists, businesses might spend more time searching. Time itself becomes a hidden cost. Saving money on fees means little if your project sits idle for weeks because the right freelancer isn't available. Suddenly, the cheapest option isn't always the most affordable. And that single realization changes everything. Then came another twist. Artificial intelligence entered the freelance world. Tasks that once required hours could now be completed much faster. Writers used AI to brainstorm. Designers experimented with image generation. Developers accelerated coding with AI assistants. Clients expected quicker delivery. Freelancers faced even greater competition. Platforms had to adapt quickly. The battle was no longer just about connecting people. It became about helping them work smarter. Upwork responded by expanding AI-related talent categories, improving search systems, and introducing tools designed to help businesses find specialized professionals faster. Demand for AI experts exploded almost overnight. Companies raced to hire prompt engineers, automation specialists, machine learning developers, and AI consultants. Upwork's large ecosystem suddenly became an advantage because businesses needed highly specialized skills immediately. But smaller platforms weren't standing still either. goLance continued appealing to businesses focused on cost efficiency and freelancers looking for better earnings. For startups operating on tight budgets, every dollar mattered. Lower fees could mean extending a project by another week or hiring one additional specialist. For independent freelancers building sustainable income, keeping more of each payment felt meaningful. The platform wasn't necessarily trying to replace the market leader. It was carving out its own identity. But the biggest misunderstanding was still waiting. Many people believed choosing a freelance platform automatically guaranteed success. It doesn't. A bad hiring process remains bad, no matter where it happens. Businesses that write vague job descriptions attract vague proposals. Companies rushing interviews often hire the wrong people. Freelancers sending generic applications usually receive generic results. The platform matters, but the decisions made by humans matter even more. That uncomfortable truth catches many people by surprise. Picture two business owners starting identical companies. One hires the cheapest freelancer available without checking reviews, asking questions, or requesting samples. The other spends time evaluating communication, experience, previous projects, and reliability before making a decision. Months later, one company launches successfully while the other struggles with missed deadlines, buggy software, and endless revisions. They use the same marketplace. The difference wasn't technology, it was judgment. The same applies to freelancers. One person sends 50 copied proposals every day and blames the platform when nobody replies. Another carefully studies each client's problem, writes personalized proposals, communicates clearly, and consistently builds relationships. Eventually, one disappears into the crowd while the other develops long-term clients who return again and again. The marketplace creates opportunities. It doesn't create discipline. So which platform is actually better? The answer isn't as simple as many people hope. If your highest priority is access to one of the largest pools of freelancers, mature hiring tools, detailed work histories, extensive reviews, enterprise features, and a marketplace with years of global reputation, Upwork often has the advantage. Its size creates opportunities that are difficult to match, especially for businesses searching for specialized expertise or managing larger projects. But if your focus is reducing costs, keeping more earnings as a freelancer, avoiding some of the heavier marketplace expenses, and exploring a platform built around more affordable transactions, goLance becomes an attractive alternative. It may not have the same scale, But for many businesses and freelancers, it offers exactly what they need without unnecessary complexity. The real battle isn't actually Upwork versus goLance. It's trust versus cost, scale versus simplicity, reputation versus affordability. Every business owner must decide which trade off matters most for the project sitting in front of them. Sometimes paying slightly more saves months of frustration. Other times, reducing fees creates room for growth that wouldn't otherwise exist. There is no universal winner because every project carries different risks. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson hidden beneath this entire story. Most entrepreneurs spend weeks comparing platforms while ignoring the far more important question: are they hiring the right person? A brilliant freelancer can transform an ordinary business into something extraordinary. The wrong one can destroy momentum before the journey even begins. Platforms don't build companies, people do. In the end, the smartest businesses rarely obsess over finding the perfect marketplace. They obsess over building perfect hiring systems. They test carefully. They communicate clearly. They start with small projects before making bigger commitments. They reward reliability instead of chasing the cheapest price. Because in business, the most expensive mistake is rarely paying a higher fee. It's trusting the wrong person with your dream. And once that dream slips through your fingers, no platform in the world can give you those lost opportunities back.